Boom, boom, bullshit. Boom, 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 Chenka. How's it going, everybody? It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky edition of Monday Analyses for you. I hope you're all having a good one. I hope you had a great weekend. If you're a United fan, I know that you did, because it was obviously a great weekend for Manchester United. We smashed up the blue scum of Manchester and made Manchester Red once again done the double over them this year. Have some of that, Baldy Pep. And all those City fans. Go back to being Chelsea fans or whatever. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me right here tonight. I can see there's a whole bunch of you tuning in and getting in here. I want to do a few shout-outs right at the start. Matty Rush, you bloody legend, thank you very much for getting in here. I missed one of Matt Rush's super chats yesterday, so a special big shout-out to Matt Rush as well. I had an absolute double day, man. So sorry about that, pal. Ian T, how you doing, matey? Big God Bob, always great to see you. Michael Collins, Batman Night Fan, The Music Fiend, Neil Duffin, Stephen Hayes, Matty Lewis. How are you all doing? Thanks very much for getting in here tonight on this Monday evening. So, where do we begin? Obviously, let's begin at the absolute smashing up of Manchester City yesterday. United smashed them up, 2-0 at Old Trafford. Should have been 3-0, really, if not for that absolute garbage monster, Mike Dean. But, great convincing performance, even if we didn't have all the possession in the world. Don't think you ever really do against City. It's what you do with that possession that counts. And United did some good stuff with it yesterday. There's no doubt about that. I want to give a special mention right at the start here to, let's just look at the title of this video, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the man who's in charge of this United side. He's the man who's got them playing in a certain way with the tactics and the selections that he's putting out there. And recently you've just seen an upturn in United's form. In my opinion, it's no small coincidence that United have started to play better since we got Bruno Fernandes in. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? You've got somebody in midfield who can actually create, who's actually a quality player, who's not like some, Jesse Lingard hanger-on or a Pereira mediocrity. He's actually a top-class player, and we can all see that. We can see how he's improved this United side. Martial's benefiting from it. Did you see Martial and Bruno embracing? Did you see them laughing and giggling like little schoolgirls with each other after they're on the bench? I mean, it's like these are the stuff of dreams for these lads. They've got Bruno there. They're so happy to have him. Everyone's got a boost. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's had the boost. And I think that it's no small coincidence the fact that, United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are doing better since we've actually had him. But yeah, I mean, all the people saying Ole out, I mean, I think it's time to just draw a line under it all now. Manchester United have got to look to the future. We are progressing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If you think about the youth development, the signings, getting rid of the crap, he's actually done a lot for Manchester United in this short time that he's actually been manager. Certainly enough for me to warrant actually being given the job until certainly after the summer. Give him another transfer window, see what signings he's going to bring in, because I cannot fault any of the signings that he's made already. Still a couple of players to go out, little bit more time to build. We're a few players away in the starting 11 still, I think, from having a top quality side capable of challenging for, everything, which is what United should be doing. Ole Gunnar knows that. I think that the owners know it. I think they are going to be reasonably patient with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I think the fan base just needs to get behind this man right now, because he is a United legend. He's not doing too bad. Like, I saw a couple of people yesterday saying, look, if he doesn't get Champions League football end of the season, then regardless, he should be sacked. I don't think that's the mentality we should be taking right now. I think we should be looking at it like he's been doing a good job. He's masterminded great victories against Baldy Pep and Mr. Bean Jose and Frank Lampard's his bitch this season, and Pochettino got the sack and all sorts of stuff. And basically Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come out on top against all of these really big name managers, or certainly managers that are doing well right now. Not Pochettino, or Jose. But before that, they're big name managers, and he's gone up against them and come out on top. So he's shown some tactical acumen, whatever you want to say. In those games we've done well. The problem was before we had Bruno Fernandes was breaking down the lesser shite, the teams that sit back against us. So I think that is going to be massively improved just by having a man like Bruno Fernandes around. The Ole outers need to just draw a line under it and start actually supporting this Manchester United side now, because we're doing some things, even if we do miss out on top 5, even if we don't get Champions League football next season, like, he's laying the foundations here. He deserves more time, in my opinion. Now, okay, he's not a big name manager and all this stuff that people want, but we've tried that. It didn't work out. And who's to say that if we just reset again that will work out? I mean, I think what we're doing at the moment is actually going in the right direction. It may not be a speedy overnight thing, But we've got to be patient and just understand that it takes a little bit of time to build a championship winning side or even a championship challenging side. So all you Ollie outers, give it a rest. I know there's not too many of you lads and lasses actually in here, because most of you people in here, are like-minded with the pig here. And look, we have tried this the last few years, getting rid of managers, getting new ones in, and it's not really worked out. I think we realise now that if we just repeat the cycle, there's no guarantee that that's going to improve anything. It could just put us backwards, in fact. So most people are behind the cause. Most people think that Solskjaer's doing a reasonable job. And those that don't, I just think maybe it's just got to the point where they were so Ollie out. They sort of have to remain Ollie out, or they look like absolute turds. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, give him a freaking break. He's doing some good stuff, I think. I love the, what he's saying about Manchester United and how happy he seems right now. The difference between him after that game and just a couple of months ago with some of the lost fixtures and stuff, it's night and day. The pressure has been eased. We are 5th place in the league. We've got a couple of point cushion with the team below us. We're right on Chelsea's heels. We're 3 points behind them. Chelsea smashed up Everton 4-0 this season. Chelsea have been doing some good things this season. They definitely had a good performance yesterday in the Premier League against Everton. 4-0, Frank Lampard's doing a great job, I think, considering he had his star player leave before he got there, considering he's had to sort of bring young talents through and play with the players they've actually got there and develop some new talents. You're seeing, obviously, Mason Mount's a very good player. Gilmour has come through the ranks. These are players that obviously are very young and have some talent, and Frank Lampard's having to bring them on rather than go out there and dip into the transfer window, which is a much more challenging thing to do than just going out there and dipping into the transfer window. Jose, when he came in at Chelsea, he's buying all these players left, right and centre, makes it a lot easier, whereas Frank Lampard's not been able to do that. And I sort of liken Ole Gunnar and Frank Lampard. I think they're both doing a good job. I think they're both at clubs that are in transitional periods that shouldn't be looking for overnight successes because of the burdens that we're currently carrying. And Chelsea are carrying the burden or the weight of a transfer ban and this type of thing, and United are carrying the burden of the Glazers, and that's it really. That's the Glazers sucking money out. It's not, we are hindered somewhat by their ownership, I think. But thankfully, that potato boy Woody has actually signed a couple of players recently. We have actually got Bruno. We did get Igalo on loan. I just want to address some of the news that's going around today, and then we'll get into a bit more of the analysis of the weekend and the game and stuff and some of the players. But Jude Bellingham, 16-year-old Birmingham City player, has apparently been at Manchester United today, visiting the training ground, from what I understand, Carrington. So, there's a lot of speculation linking him with a summer move to Manchester United. He is a very talented player, from what I understand. I can't lie and say that I've seen a whole lot of him, but just seen bits and bobs, and I think he is obviously a very talented young player from what we hear, and we've been monitoring the situation and monitoring him for a long time. So that could be a good option for us to sign. He's only 16. Look, I'm not expecting him to be the next Michael Owen or Wayne Rooney or one of these really young prodigies, but you need to sign these players. You need to get these players in there to actually build and improve a side long term. You need young talents who are breathing down the necks of the players in the starting lineup and who are learning from these players and stuff like that. And that would be a great option for us. He's a young lad. It's just another good young talent that we can add to our collection, if you like, of good young talents. And if you think about the set of young talents United do have, that's what fills me with a lot of confidence going forward for the future. Because we've got great young talents that are only going to get better, even if we didn't necessarily sign any players right now. I still think in a few years' time, Dan James is going to be a great player. I think Rashford's going to be a great player. I think Martial's going to be a great player. Bruno, Wan-Bissaka, Williams. We've got so many young, talented players. Tahith Chong has just signed a new contract at Manchester United, by the way. Just to give you a bit more Manchester United news before we get into the weekend stuff again and get into your comments. Till 2022, Tahith Chong has signed a new contract at Manchester United. In all honesty, he's had a bit of a bang average season. He's not really played that much. That's one of the criticisms I do have of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, really, is his lack of appearances that he's given to players like Angel Gomez and players like Tahith Chong, because he's favoured the likes of Andreas Pereira and he's favoured the likes of Lingard, who are older players. They are more experienced players for sure. Lingard's got a lot of experience. He should be a much better player than he is based on this experience alone. But the fact is, those players haven't done anything for United so far this season, or even really going into the last season. I mean, Pereira's done the occasional decent thing, but in my eyes is not much more than a backup player. And Jesse Lingard, I mean, there was a time when he looked like he was a great player for us, great squad player, but those days are long gone, I'm afraid. You can't keep putting in such poor performances consistently like Jesse has done and having a right nightmare out there. So I think that Ollie should have given more opportunities to Angel Gomez, especially after Lingard and Pereira were not working out earlier on in the season. You might have seen a little bit more development from the likes of Chong, the likes of Gomez. Out of those two, I do think maybe Gomez is the better talented player out of the both of them, and I would have loved to have seen a lot more from him. But, you know, I'm not going to say, like, this is a bad bit of news, because Chong's obviously a good young talent. United have got to keep hold of these players. You know, we don't want to lose the young players that could turn into potentially great players. We want to lose the gash players. Do you know what I mean? We want to lose the ones that are just absolutely over the hill, even though they're still freaking under it or at the bottom of it, if that makes any sense. Like Pereira, like Lingard, players that are proven to be pretty damn bang average and probably aren't going to get any better. I mean, there's one argument to say that things can change for a player. You can change around a career, absolutely. If you look at just a few players in Manchester United squad right now, which I need to give a massive shout out to because of their recent turnaround in form and performances, the likes of Nemanja Matic, a little while ago, I was like, this guy needs to be offloaded ASAP. Do you know what I mean? Send him back to Frankenstein's lab or whatever, because he's just not quite up to the standard. He's lost it. He's over the hill. He's aging. He's lost that half a yard, which he never freaking had to begin with. And he's just one of Jose's relics stinking up the place. That was my honest opinion a couple of months ago. But opinions can change based on consistent performances and also just based on character and effort. Like, you've got to say fair play to him. He's gone in there, consistently performed. Since he come back from his injury, it's like we've had a new signing. We've had this cool, calm, collected man, you know, playing CDN there for us. Very solid, cool on the ball, even playing nice passes and stuff like that, and just looking like a very, very good, accomplished, experienced player out there, which we were missing, I think, for the last year of Nemanja Matic's United career. But the last couple of months, he's been brilliant. Same goes for Freddie Flintstone's absolutely having a Abadoo time out there. He's doing some great stuff. I love him. I think the type of player that he is, it's like a complete sort of midfielder. You know, if you look at what he did in that Man City game, he just ran and worked his absolute socks off the entire time, never slowed down, cardio for days, putting everyone to shame out there, buzzing around like a bloody hornet in there and stinging those Manchester City players. He was just taking the ball off of them, interceptions, the passing, the movement. Now, it was a bit of a cat and mouse exchange at times because City have so much possession, but I think Fred did an amazing job working and pressing and just working his absolute socks off in United's midfield. So things can change for a career of a player. You can turn it around. But I just think Jesse Lingard's too far gone, you know. Jesse Lingard is too far gone in terms of just the amount of performances he's put in for United, the damn bang average. So that's why I'm saying it would have been good to see Chong and Angel Gomez play for United. Right then, lads and lasses, let's have a look at your comment section and then we'll get back into it a little bit. But I do want to say thank you to everybody that's joining me right now. Rambling on a little bit already. But I'm still absolutely buzzing over that derby delight at the weekend. I mean, what can I say? It was a brilliant win. Stunning end to the game as well. Scotty McTominay scoring that absolute screamer from 35 yards. Let's just all have a little laugh at Edison for a second, because this guy's absolutely gastastic. Do you know what I mean? Like, based on that game, you would think he was, you know, their B team player or something, because he was so sloppy at the back. There was a couple of opportunities even before the howler at the end there where he's looked really ropey. The Bruno Fernandes assist for Martial, that goal, he should have saved it. It was weak at his near post, really had a mare. He almost gifted Martial a goal just by fanning around on his goal line, and he was just generally ropey throughout. So that is also a big factor. Like, a goalkeeper on form, most of the top goalkeepers would have stopped that shot from Anthony Martial, to be fair, and wouldn't have gifted us that goal at the end there. So I think he is a big factor, you know, that United did manage to win that game. Class from Bruno, class from Martial, class from these players, but still, Edison helped us out a lot there. Gungshi, how you doing, mate? Always great to see you. Says, I don't know what that's about, but tell Pig to deliver them personally while wearing Mark Sun's uniform. Oh my days, Mark Sun's uniform.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Music Fiend's birthday.
Oh, it's the Music Fiend's birthday. Hey, the Music Fiend, happy birthday to you. Everybody, happy birthday to you. Just carry on in your heads. Anyway, thank you very much. Happy birthday to you, the Music Fiend. I'm not going to finish off, it's long. Anyway, they do say you should wash your hands at the moment for 2 lengths or for the amount of it takes to sing happy birthday twice in your head. So do that anyway. Thank you to everybody that's still in here. Please do us a favour, smash a cheeky little like on this video. And I want to give another shout out to some of the people I haven't mentioned so far. Stefan Harringtonio, Alex Dualibi Wilson, Michael Fletcher, Debbie Elder, How are we all doing tonight? Thanks for getting in here. So then, what did you think of the performance yesterday? Who were your standout performances? Fred, obviously, for me, was probably the best player on the park. But I wanted to talk about Bruno Fernandes because, you know, Ollie's at the wheel and it feels absolutely amazing. He's driving this bus and it's sensational. But who's the one checking the tickets? Who's the one conducting things out there? Who's the bus conductor? It's Bruno Fernandes. He's literally on there. You know, checking everyone's tickets, making sure nobody's out of line and pulling the strings. You know, he's the real heartbeat of this Manchester United side right now. And considering he's only been here for a little while, you're talking about somebody that's played, like 5 or 6 games for United, already looks like a seasoned Manchester United player, already looks like one of the best players in the Premier League, already doing the business out there, you know, for us as a leader and also just as a quality player. I want to just read these stats out to you, which I found very, very interesting about Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League. Since he's joined Manchester United, he has created 11 chances, which is the most at Manchester United since he's joined. He's had 129 passes ending in the final third, which is the most at Manchester United since the period he joined. He's had 48 passes and crosses into the box, which is the most from any player at Manchester United since he's joined. And he's had 387 touches on the ball in the Premier League since he's joined, which is the second most at Manchester United since he's joined. So I think he's having a bit of an impact, you know what I mean? He's liking things, he's creating things for us. He's passing it around for United in that midfield, and he's creating all sorts of glorious, majestic chances for us. You know, I can't really fault him. He's exactly what we needed. He's a complete breath of fresh air. This is the Bruno Fernandes era. I've talked about it. I think that he is going to be the catalyst, like Cantona, somebody to come in there and just sort this band of merry melters right out. Do you know what I mean? Just kick him up the jacksie just like they need. A modern-day Portuguese Roy Keane, who's a bit cooler and not so, you know, doesn't lose his head so much. That's what we need. Okay, he's not anything like Roy Keane as a player. Really bad comparison, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we just need somebody out there who's orchestrating things a little bit. Paul Scholes would have probably been a fairer comparison, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer compared him to, but with a bit more of a leadership character, I think. Also, if you look at the chance that... So he's had 5 matches so far in the Premier League this season. He's scored 2 goals. He's had 3 assists, really 4 assists in my eyes. He's created 11 chances and he's passed... He's attempted 272 passes. I mean, that's just about 5. That's 5 games. So he's absolutely doing some bits out there. The 2 goals, the 3 assists, you know, he's contributing a goal a game to Manchester United already, and we just look much a better team for having him in there. So come on, my son, get in there. Bruno Fernandes at United for the next however long. Going to be a star of United. He's going to be a star of the Premier League. You know, it's obvious to see. I don't see him slowing down. He's coming there. He's got the bottle. He's got the cojones. He's up for the challenge. He's relishing the opportunity that's in front of him here. And you're seeing him pull the strings for United in there. Absolutely pulling the strings, making the previous players that we got at the club, some of them, look absolutely bloody bang average, to be fair. The other players around him, they're all looking better. Fred and Matic and Martial and just everybody's benefiting from Bruno Fernandes at the club. So massive shout out to Bruno Fernandes. This is the era for Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United. And I think with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, with a bit of investment, with some quality signings in the summer, let's say Pogba goes, because I'm sorry, let's get onto it then. The Paul Pogba debate. Like, should he be playing for United? Should we see this Bruno Fernandes and should we see this Pogba combination and at least let them play together? Well, in my eyes, I say no. I say no, we do not, because I just think that Pogba's had his chances. He's had his time. He's a top player. He'll probably go out somewhere else and be a great player. I'm sure he will. But if we disrupt this Manchester United side right now by allowing Paul Pogba to slot in there, that's only going to mean probably bad things. I mean, I can't say it's definitely going to mean it. It could be just exactly what we needed, because Pogba, on paper, is a great player. But Fred's doing some great stuff. Matic is doing some brilliant things. Those two have built up a great partnership. McTominay's coming back into the side. You know, last couple of games we've seen from him, he's done very, very well. He's always a fantastic player out there for us. Gives it his all, wears his heart on his sleeve. Definitely a United-style player. And if you disrupt that at the moment by allowing Paul Pogba to go in there, I mean, I just don't think it's the right move. I think Solskjaer should stick with the players that have got us through this tough period, that have shown improvement, that have shown the character and the bottle to win us derbies and win us big games. And since we got Bruno, go on a really successful run. You know, we've played, I think, the last 10 games now, we've had 8 clean sheets and we're unbeaten in 10. So we're definitely doing a lot better out there. And that's no small part down to Fred and down to Matic. So those two deserve a massive lot of respect, and I think if you pull one of those out the side just because Pogba's fit, that's not good. Plus, Pogba in a CDM role, in that role in midfield there, it's not his best position, we know that. He's better up the pitch, he's better in a sort of Bruno Fernandes role. But now we've got Bruno Fernandes, who is exactly what Pogba was supposed to be, but Pogba never quite did it for United. And it's early days for Bruno, but it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. He looks like a top quality player. So yeah, just to give it into the comment section, what do you think about Paul? I know it's a, I do know it's a hot topic. I know it's an interesting topic because a lot of people do not want to see Paul Pogba go. A lot of people know that he is a top quality player, and if you actually look at what he's done in his career, he is a top quality player. Talking about a World Cup winner, and in that Juventus side, he was absolutely formidable. Yeah, so let's, Matt Rush comments, Pogba only wants game time for the Euros. Very interesting, that's the thing. Obviously, France, Euros this summer. He's coming back from injury. Will he get the game time? He's such a big player with a big reputation. He's a character in the dressing room. If he's not happy, will it cause a rift in the dressing room? I don't know. I think the team has benefited without Paul Pogba, to be fair. And, what I would do if I was Manchester United, if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I would look at this United side and say, we've done better without Paul. Sometimes there's a certain player, a big name player, just doesn't quite work out, and you're better off having some different players who are not as experienced, who are not as, don't have the reputation, but they do have a bit of character maybe, or they do have, they're still trying to prove themselves, and so they're really working. Like Sanchez, for instance, was a gash player. Much rather have Dan James, 21-year-old whippersnapper that we signed from the Championship, than last season's Alexis Sanchez for sure. There's an example right there. You need to be fully committed, and I'm just questioning Paul Pogba's commitment to the club. That's what I'm saying. Maybe a bit harsh, but I think United would benefit from selling him in the summer, getting the 100 million, investing it into another top player like a Jadon Sancho or somebody like that. Still go and spend a little bit more money too. Matty Rush was telling me maybe there's a possibility that De Gea could be sold to generate more money, because that's the Glazers style, That is the Glazers style. They don't like to just spend money and invest. If they're going to spend money on the side, maybe they'll look to recoup that money. And De Gea's been looking at, he had a great game in the derby. He was looking a little bit ropey, to be fair. And a massive shout out to De Gea. I didn't give him a player rating yesterday, but he was solid as rock, He made some really good saves. Got to give him an 8 out of 10. Bossed it. He's obviously a great player, and I'd stick with him, but I'm just saying, there are some rumblings of that sort of stuff going on, and it wouldn't really bother me that much, if Pogba was sold and we signed Sancho. That would just be way better. Thank you very much for your comment there, Matt Rush. I just want to say shout out to Gungers, man. Thank you very much, Gungers, for I almost forgot, actually. You sent one in just before I even got going. A little cheeky PayPal donation. Thank you very much, Hugh. He says, "Hi, Pig. I was buzzing so much after that great game last night that I didn't sleep and ended up missing my doctor's appointment. Hope Ollie and the lads do the same to Mourinho when we play Spurs." That's a nightmare, Gunshi. Do you know what I mean? I've done stuff like that all the time, to be fair. Don't worry about it. Hopefully they weren't too annoyed and you can just rearrange it. But yeah, how can you go to sleep after that one? Do you know what I mean? I was knackered yesterday because I got up for the UFC the morning before, and I was absolutely shagged out. And then what happened was I just ended up staying up to like 2 a.m. in the end because I just couldn't get to sleep because I was buzzing after that win. That was a monumental win though. Like, we absolutely smashed them up. Maybe you can't say that because we had like 12% possession. It wasn't quite that bad, but we definitely dominated them for chances. We definitely took our chances. We definitely had like a lot of great moves and some really great football that we played. And they had a bit of a nightmare. And Pep's having a bit of a nightmare at the moment by their very high standards that they've set. The cheating bastards. But anyway, thank you so much for that there, Gungshi. And yeah, I agree. Spurs coming up at the weekend, of course, after the last game in the Europa League. I think we can pile the misery on Jose and his Spurs side at the moment. They're having a nightmare. I've just seen someone else as well. You shouldn't be happy about players getting injured, and I'm not really happy about this because he's a young lad, seems a nice guy, but Bergwijn over at Tottenham's picked up some sort of knock in that Burnley game, and he's going to be out probably till the end of the season. Now, they've already got Son out, they've already got Kane out long term. Oh my days, the misery is just compounding on Jose right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Kathy Bates takes him hostage soon and sticks a freaking 2x4 between his ankles. Do you know what I mean? Gets the old sledgehammer out. Because he is absolutely miserable at the moment. He's in a set of misery right now. Jose. Jose, yeah, I mean, it's tough times for him. He's blaming his players. I saw what he said about Ndombele. So they didn't really have a midfield and that he wasn't really the level that Spurs needed and stuff like that. Just absolutely blaming it on his players. Jose's a bit of a melter, isn't he? He's just repeating the process, always blames it on his players. And I think that's why he divides dressing rooms, because he's spouting all this stuff in the press. The player's going to feel very negatively about that. To be fair, you're not going to be happy that your manager's publicly outing you like that. And then guess what? Ndombele's matey, whoever it may be, Lo Celso, who's like, do you know what? That's harsh, Ndombele, mate. Jose's a twat. And all of a sudden, all these rifts begin. You saw it at Chelsea. You saw it at United with Luke Shaw, Pogba, and these volatile incidents. So I just think Jose's an old-fashioned melt, and it's about time that we stuck the misery on the old Portuguese Mr. Bean at the weekend. Yeah, fully agree. I fully agree with that, Gungers. I do think Manchester United are going to smash Spurs up. I do. I mean, it's hard to say that. Jose is a very technically astute manager, whatever you say about him. He's still got a very good set of players over there at Spurs, even if they are missing Kane and Son. So it's going to be a difficult game. But just right now is probably the best time ever that we could play them. They've got a wounded Jose, who's a little bit volatile, and some of the players are maybe had their heads gone a little bit because of some of the stuff that he's coming out with. We don't even know what's going on behind the scenes either. They've also got their best players out. Like, come on, it's a great time. Whereas United, we're just absolutely growing. We're growing in stature as the season goes on. Some of the teams around us are melting, but United, with Bruno, we've got Gallo coming in. We've had that boost that we so desperately needed. So we're in a fantastic position to make the most of the season and claim that top 5 now, which it is to get Champions League football. And I just think Spurs are going to finish mid-table. They're going to bottle it out, and who knows, maybe Jose might even get the golden handshake this summer, even though he's only just been in the job 2 minutes, really. Right, okay, I'm going to dive into your comment section. Thanks very much for getting in here, everybody. You're a bunch of legends. Please do us a favour if you're tuning into this Monday analysis live. Please smack a cheeky little like on this video. Give it a thumbs up. Let us know your thoughts and opinions as we go along for a good little bit now. G Wolf United, how you doing? G Wolf, absolute bloody legend. Comments, Pogba shouldn't be anywhere near our club. He is a virus in itself. Him and his agent, they both needed to sod off. Yes, that's it. I think United need to draw a line under dealing with Raiola, to be fair. I think he is a toxic agent. I think he's come out and said some unnecessary things in the press about United. Just unnecessary and about his play, just unprofessional stuff. You're a footballer, you don't get involved, mate. Don't be saying stuff like Paul Pogba deserves to be playing for a better team than United who are challenging for things and stuff like that. You're a dick then, aren't you, Mino? He's obviously a twat. I mean, that guy is a complete virus. Pogba, though, Pogba seems like a nice lad, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying he's aligned himself with that agent. Jesse's aligned himself with that agent too. Wouldn't it make sense just to get both of those two players out of the club right now? Both of the players that are not really performing yet are on big wages, and also, draw a line under dealing with that agent. Now, I don't know if there's other players that are at the club that are represented by him. I honestly don't, but I'm just saying, we should try and be dealing with that tosser as little as possible. And Pogba, I don't know, I don't know if he's a virus, but I just think he's not a player that works at Manchester United. I don't think he's got the right character in a lot of ways because he does let his head go. And also, I just don't think that it's a right fit for him. For whatever reason, we've tried it and tested it out for years now, and it's never really measured up. Oh, sorry, just having a coughing fit over here, love. Yeah, no, I'll have a drink. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much for getting in here. Demir Lassina, how you doing? Says, I bloody missed the start. That's all right, you can catch up a little bit later, can't you? Shout out to you all for tuning in. I might stop by and do a cheeky little FIFA video later on as well. I'm not 100% sure, though. If not, there'll be one on there tomorrow. Also, there'll be the Pick of the Hen show on Wednesday, of course. Oh, dear. Paul Lucas says, sometimes the game passes managers by. Yeah, I think you're possibly right there about Jose Mourinho. He's maybe had his day. It's like a heavyweight boxer or something who just sticks around a little bit too long. And to be perfectly honest, you know how much of a great manager Sir Alex Ferguson was. And he really, really was. And unbelievable. But he probably ended at the right time in terms of his managerial career at United, because the squad that he left at United, it was decent squad, but it wasn't the best United squad we've ever had. And with the City cheating the way that they were, and other teams, you know, making it very difficult, like Chelsea, obviously, and just the fact that Man City were really looking to cement themselves as a top challenger for the title every single year, and they had that financial advantage, and all of those reasons. I think Fergie knew that he was maybe a little bit hindered by the Glazers and by the ownership of the club, and that we couldn't quite, maybe, even though it's ridiculous to say, compete with Man City in the transfer market and stuff like that. So, I mean, he probably finished at the right time, to be fair, even though if he stayed, I'm sure United would have continued to be, you know, much more successful than we were since he's gone. But yeah, that's probably one of my unpopular opinions there. Anthony Evelyn comments, would be good if Pogba comes back, but he should leave United. If Pogba comes back and plays like the Pogba that, you know, turned around that Manchester derby that we won 3-2 a couple of years ago, or the Pogba that, you know, was absolutely ripping it up for Juventus in Serie A, then fair play to him. But the only way I want to see Pogba actually get into the team is by dislodging somebody, by somebody playing poorly for a couple of games, and then him coming on as a sub or something, impressing, taking another opportunity, and actually performing. Reward performances and punish poor performances. That's the way I like to see management. So, for instance, if Matic starts to play a couple of really poor games, don't just keep selecting him. You've got to perform. If you're going to stay in this team, you've got to perform. So then maybe Pogba could come in and play. But I don't want to see a performing Matic and a performing Fred or a performing Bruno taken out for a misfiring Paul Pogba coming back from injury. No chance at all, lads and lasses. No chance at all. Gungers comments and says Pogba could help himself by getting a new agent. I still rate Pogba highly and think it's really sad it's not working out at United. It could have been different under different circumstances. Yeah, very true, very true. I mean, I don't think it really helped Pogba that Jose was here for the last few years, in all honesty. Maybe if we'd had Ollie or we'd had a different manager who was a bit more of a arm round the shoulder type of manager rather than an out you in public type of manager, maybe Paul Pogba would have benefited a fair bit. I think you're right as well about his agent. Like, if he'd had a different agent who's not come out and caused these rifts between the club and player publicly, then it would have all been a lot better for Paul Pogba at United as well. But there's just certain games out there, Gungshi Man, where I just see his cojones shriveling up out there, and I don't want to see that from Paul Pogba. You know, I don't want to see it even when they're bulbous, but I certainly don't want to see him when they're shriveling up. So I'm very disappointed with him when he does that, you know, because he's a top quality player. That's annoying. You know, like Carlos Tevez was a top quality player when he was at United. Crikey, was a bulldog out there. He absolutely was tenacious, tried his socks off. But, you know, he went to City, you know, and it's like he's bloody refusing to play for them and stuff like this. I mean, come on, you know, you can't have players like that. I'm not saying that's as bad as Paul Pogba, because, or worse, you know, Paul Pogba's as bad as that, because Paul Pogba's not as bad as Carlos Tevez at all. But the point I'm making is, you have to try 100%. You have to give 100% to United, and I question that he does. That's all I'm saying. Matty Lewis comments, want to see Pogba go? Want to see Pogo at all? I don't know what that means. But maybe he will be going. We'll see what happens in the summer. I think it makes a lot of sense just to generate a bit of cash. Maybe you could sign Greenish. Maybe you could sign Sancho. Maybe you could sign Ndidi. Maybe you could sign somebody. But if you're just joining us, lads and lasses, please smack a cheeky little thumbs up on this video for Monday analysis. And also, if you're not aware, United have extended the contract of Tahith Chong to 2022. So Tahith Chong is now still a United player. There's some speculation he may leave at the end of the season, but he has signed an extension for his contract. And also, it looks like Matic is going to be signing a contract, or maybe even already has done. But Nemanja Matic extending it, which I'm quite happy about, to be fair, based on recent form. Also, United are possibly looking to sign Jude Bellingham from Birmingham, who has toured Manchester United's training ground today. So there's a lot of stuff going on at United today, just for the youth and for the future of Manchester United. Not massive news, but some news there just to let you know about if you're just joining us. Debbie Elder comments, Fred over Pogba. Are you having a laugh? No, I'm not having a laugh, Debbie. I think Fred is, you know, he may, on paper, like I say, he may not be a better player, but it's not played on paper. And for United, over the last couple of months, Fred has put in consistently good performances, consistently great performances, really. And Pogba, although coming in and having a few great games here and there, doesn't do it consistently. And I don't really care if you're the best player in the world and you perform with a 10 out of 10 one week, but then the next week you're a 5 out of 10. I don't want a player like that. I want somebody who's, a 7 or an 8 out of 10 every single week, and recently Fred has been doing that. I know what you're saying. Pogba, technically is a better player than most midfielders in the world. But it's not all about that, honestly. It's about having the bottle, having the character, having the desire, having the effort, having the determination to be a United player and to know what it means to represent the club and trying your absolute guts out. Which is why I'd have, 11 McTominays over one Pogba, any day of the week there. Anthony Evelyn says, Ollie in long time. Thank you very much. Yeah, I hope he does get a fair crack at the whip now until the end of next season in my eyes, because he's done a good job rebuilding and progressing this side. There's no need to get rid of him even if we don't get the top 5 in my opinion. It's looking likely that we will do that. We've put ourselves in a strong position. We're getting stronger. We've got the backups now. We've also got Bruno who's pulling the strings. We've got players on form. So, yeah, if we smash up Tottenham at the weekend, crikey, I'd be very, very surprised if we don't get Champions League football next season. But even if we don't, let's just say we bottom out on the last day of the season or something, we just miss out. Still, though, he's done an all right job progressing us, and we should give him time and a bit more money in the transfer window to improve this side and give him a fair crack at it. Give him the amount of time Jose had, to be fair, because... I'm very impressed with what Solskjaer's done just lately. When you actually give him the players, try and give him the players that we need to be effective and to cut teams open, we've actually been able to do it, and his tactics have changed. Like, people were critical of his tactics, his defensive tactics, and not being able to penetrate lesser teams, but I don't think we necessarily had the tools to do that. We certainly didn't with players like Lingard and Pereira. I know he's selecting them, but who else are you going to select? Like some young whippersnappers, it's a gamble. So I think he's done all right. Matty Rush says 2-year deal for Matic. Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. I think it's a good bit of business. Maybe shows a little bit of a lack of ambition, as we've discussed, because if United are not going to go out there and get a proper top quality younger CDM in the summer, then that is a shame. But we do, I guess, maybe with those players on form, we do have slightly more pressing issues. Like I think a right wing is a priority. I think a striker's a priority. Maybe another creative sort of a midfielder or somebody that can play in a variety of positions, like Jack Grealish. That would be brilliant. Leanne16195 comments, it's all about the team at the end of the day. I went through the Fergie era. Yeah, nice. Well, I think you're absolutely right. And it took Alex Ferguson a long time to build that Manchester United side up. And it wasn't an overnight thing. And there were lots of times when he could have lost his job. Certainly that FA Cup win was what sort of gave him more time. And United went on to have the most successful period ever. And I know what you're saying, because once he'd assembled the team, once he got the players, once he got the catalyst, he got the creative players, got the goal scorers, we went on a successful run. And you do need those. You need all those parts to have a successful team. It doesn't matter if you've got 10 great players. If you've got a one poor player who's a passenger, it really doesn't help you at all. So we do need to get some top quality players in there. Batman Knight fan comments, I love Fred the Red. Yeah, he's done a brilliant job recently. Shout out to Fred, just amazing stuff. Ted Zavala comments, Pogba will just harm the recent form. If he wants to play to get minutes for the Euros, have him play with the reserves. Great shout there, Teddy. I like him what you're saying there, because, why upset the harmony that's going on at the club? You've got the harpist, Bruno Fernandes, playing those heavenly tones, plucking those heavenly chords, pulling the strings in the centre of the park for United. Why do we want to put Pogba in there on drums to smash everything up? I don't know. I think we've just got to keep that harmonious music going. Do you know what I mean? We've got Fred and Matic, they're singing like a couple of cherubs in a choir, and we've got Bruno Fernandes playing the harp. Do you know what I mean? Anthony Martial's on the triangle or something, I don't know, as that focal point at the top of that triangle of penetration, and that's all sweet. It's sweet heavenly music. Why upset the flow right now? Do you know what I mean? I agree with you. Wallace Montcroy Stewart comments, Pogba has been inconsistent because the team have been inconsistent. He was surrounded by rubbish. Now we have Fernandes, a rejuvenated Matic and Fred. We could see great things from him. Let's see. I'll tell you what, love it. Love the comment, Wallace. Great optimistic comment there. And yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, to be fair, because if you look at Fred, if you look at Matic, if you look at Martial, those players have all had a boost because of Bruno. Bruno's helping them all out. Honestly, they've done it themselves as well. But since Bruno's come in, everybody's benefited from it. I'm sure Pogba would benefit from it too. But at the same time, Pogba was supposed to be that Bruno. So, Pogba was supposed to be that guy, and he just never really quite lived up to it. So, I don't really know. JP, how you doing, JP, mate? Yeah, Calamity James, he bloody loves it, doesn't he? But either way, you know, shout out to the Phil Jones Defence League and all of you. The Primot says, Nicola Muffin, how are you?
Oh yeah, I was just, yes, I'm very good, thank you. The pronouns all good and Karamak with you.
All good and Karamak with you?
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean?
Because one of the times you said Karamak and I said I like Karamak, and you went back and forth.
Oh, cool story. I like it. Nice one. Debbie Elder comments, Fred and Matic aren't challenging Liverpool. Interesting, and that's why I was saying it maybe shows a little bit of a lack of ambition that we're not trying to get a top quality CDM in the summer if we've extended his contracts and stuff like that. But at the same time, Debbie, you'd have probably said the same about coming up against Man City. You may have said the same against some of the other top sides that we've got some good scouts against this season. And Man City have got a great midfield, but Fred and Bruno and Matic, they did fantastic in that game, and they did rip them apart. So I don't know. I think those players on form, they could do it. But I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. You know, top quality players are what Manchester United need right now. And Pogba, on paper, is one of those, but he's not actually on the pitch for United, Debbie. Sorry. I mean, we can argue about this till we're blue in the face, or me, in my case, purple in the face, whatever. And we probably will continue to do this. But he actually doesn't perform that well for United. Maybe, though, like Wallace said, if he came back into the side with Bruno there, with the team actually performing where we're not in a bad lull and a poor bit of confidence and all that stuff, those are very valid points. So, you know, I'm not going to rule him out and write him off just yet. I'm just saying I don't want to see him dislodge any of those players that are on form right now in this United side. I think that if he's going to come in, he needs to earn his way in, he needs to fight his way in, he needs to wait for somebody else to go off the boil a little bit and take an opportunity and perform. So if he does that, if he comes in, if he wants to perform for United, if he wants to play with Bruno, if he wants to stick around, I'm all for it, but he's got to actually consistently perform. And as soon as he comes in and has one awful game where he lets his head go, you know, I don't want to see it. I want to see consistency. I want to see 7 out of 10 Michael Carrick every single week. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see, you know, absolute bottle jobs. Fair play to you, though. I love your passion. Alex Ferguson, you bloody legend, comments, would you swap Pogba for Verratti? I mean, no. I don't think, you know, Verratti's the right sort of player that we need right now. Now, don't get me wrong. He's obviously a great player. But I think United are looking in a different type of player right now. We tried to sign these big name players on big money. It didn't work out. We're going a different route at the moment. Now, I know Bruno's a lot of money. He's a big name player, but we're talking about players that are trying to take the step up to United and really fighting and have the hunger to really cement themselves as a top player. We're looking for the players that are going from the second level to the top. Rather than the players that are already there at the moment. And I think that will benefit United's philosophy with this whole youth development and how we've been doing. So, I don't know. I mean, it sounds a bit silly to say I don't want a top player like that, but that's just my opinion. Gungshi says, all of our players have been just as inconsistent over the last few years. Oh, Gungers! About Pogba. I don't know if all of them has been as inconsistent as Pogba. Some of them have been a lot more consistent than Pogba. Some of them have been not as consistent as Pogba. Let's be honest now. A lot of them, in fact. So I hear what you're saying. If you think about players like Sanchez, Lukaku, Lingard, Pereira, certainly last season with the Jones and the Smallings and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. You're right. Over the last few years, a lot of United's players have been inconsistent. So I'm not ruling them out just yet. I'm not writing them off just yet. Give him a little bit of time to the end of the season to see. But I hope that he's not just thrust back in there because he's fit and he's a big name over the likes of Matic or Fred right now, who are actually playing some good stuff. Reward good performances. That's always what I say. I'd much rather have a young, hungry player like Brandon Williams playing than Luke Shaw 2 months ago. And I don't mean Luke Shaw now. I mean Luke Shaw 2 months ago, the one that looked out of it, the one that looked like he couldn't be asked, the one that wasn't quite at the races. I didn't want that. I think what Brandon Williams has done, he's come in, he's shown that effort, he's shown the desire and the hunger to take the opportunities presented to him, and that has actually made Luke Shaw have a massive kick up the arse that he needed. And he's like, crikey, I'm going to lose out to this new 19-year-old whippersnapper if I don't step my game up. So I think he's done a brilliant, I think Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw, massive credit as well, because recently, just like Fred, just like Matic, he's also improved. So I'm not ruling Pogba out and saying he can't do it. I wasn't even going to talk about Pogba on this video. Do you know what I mean? It's just such a passionate subject, isn't it? It's such a divide. It's almost as bad as the Ollie out and Ollie in thing. You know, there's such a divide about Pogba. Pogba out or Pogba in. What are you, lads and lasses? I just want to see a quick vote. Just type Pogba out or Pogba in, and then I just want to see the sort of... the sort of percentages that we've got for people that think that Pogba should stay and people that think Pogba should go. PDL. Oh, dear. Thank you very much. Andrew Cossi says, what a bloody beauty of a game, eh? Pure joy. And those of us... hang on, it's gone up the screen there. Pure joy, and those of us who stood behind Ollie can feel a bit of pride right now. Absolutely, I fully agree with that, and so we should, because we stuck by our manager in a tough time. Right, okay, I think I'm going to wrap this one up, lads and lasses. I didn't realise we've been going for 45 minutes here. But I do want to say, a massive shout out to you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for getting by here. I'm aware of the time, and I do want to try and, got to feed the missus and also get on and, got to feed the missus. Yeah, Mrs. Pig. She's a tromper. I've got to feed her.
I've eaten.
Don't lie. Anyway. Anyway, no, I've actually got to crack on. I just realised the time I've got to set up something because I'm going to do this FIFA thing later anyway. But you're a bunch of bloody legends. Thank you so much to you all for tuning in. Poisonous Nut, Mark Sin, you bloody hero. Great to see you. Matty Rush, Juice Said, The Primot, Michael Collins, everyone else, Stephen Hayes. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in for Monday Analysis. Come back in a few minutes' time when this video's finished and get your thoughts and opinions in. RiarGV, shout out to you. Stefan Antonio, shout out to you all for getting in here today for Monday Analysis. Chuck a like on it. Get your thoughts and opinions in after this is finished. Let me know about, us smashing up City. Let me know your thoughts about any of the new signings. Tahith Chong, Matic signing new deals, potential for Jude Bellingham, etc. Please do get involved. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is The Pig. Take it easy. I'll see you soon. In fact, I might see you a bit later for FIFA. It's not 100% yet, but I'll let you know. This is The Pig. Take it easy. Oh, that wasn't good. See you soon. Stay classy.
What did you do?
I just had a mare. Massive shout out to all the Bacon Brigade who make these videos possible, to be fair. Honestly, massive support from you legends. Thanks very much for tuning in and getting in here on this random Monday Analysis episode. Every single week we'll do this, just talk about the Manchester United performance of the weekend a little bit. I usually like to stick on a little bit longer, but I've just got to take care of something. So thank you very much for everybody that has been here, though.
Not feeding Mrs. P. Mrs. P's fine.
Anyway, thank you so much. Stay classy. Have a great evening. I'll see you soon. Shout out to all these Patreon legends or Tier 2 channel members that support the channel. These are the legends that do. Thank you so much to everybody that gets involved. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, but I'll see you very, very soon. Stay classy, Bacon Brigade. Pig in the Hen Show Wednesday. We've got FIFA Fridays. I might do a FIFA tonight and maybe tomorrow and maybe an extra added bonus Pig in the Hen tomorrow too. Keep posted. We shall see. But definitely on Wednesday they will be on anyway. See you later on. And come on, United.